That may be the greatest catch I've ever seen in my life.
Okay guys, just in case y'all missed the video this morning, because of all the support that we have had on this channel in the form of y'all going out there, liking the videos, y'all subscribing to the channel, leaving a comment, donating in the live streams. I mean, we have been able to go out there and do some very, very exciting things for this fantasy football channel. We've gone out there, we upgraded our microphone, we upgraded our computer, we invested in a background for us that should be up later tonight during the stream. I am recording this right now, Tuesday morning, and we are going to be streaming tonight at 8:30 p.m. Central. Please, guys, come through the stream. Let me know what y'all think of this new background. If y'all follow us on Instagram, y'all already kind of have a good idea of what it's going to be. But regardless, I am extremely, extremely excited for y'all to see that background, and it was entirely made possible by all the support that y'all showed on these videos. I really hope that we just continue to improve the quality of the channel nonstop after nonstop. And I mean, it's all because of y'all. Guys, thank y'all so much. I truly, truly appreciate it. But that's enough rambling. Let's get on to the video. Okay, now the theme of this video is going to be going out there and getting guys that people do not want. We are going to go and target the panicked players because at the end of the day, we are only 3 weeks into the NFL season. I know it seems like we've been doing this nonstop for all of 2020, but regardless, we are looking at these overall situations and we kind of understand that some situations can change, and I don't think that we should necessarily project one for one with what has happened through 3 weeks with what is going to happen over the next 13. So I think there are some clear guys that we should go out there and we should prioritize adding on our fantasy football roster as their owners are just absolutely petrified. And now let's start it off with, I'm not going to waste any time. Let's get to the main guy in this video. Let's get to someone that every single person comes in the live stream and asks about. Every single person on our fantasy football group chat is asking about, and this is Joe Mixon. Now, y'all know coming into the season, we were not necessarily particularly high on Joe Mixon, but at the end of the day, when we are looking at this overall situation, I think we can kind of acknowledge that, yes, there are a couple very concerning things going on here. One, we see that Joe Mixon is not being involved in the passing game whatsoever. We are seeing that Giovanni Bernard, and I think it's due to Giovanni Bernard's contract. I mean, if you look it up, it's actually really surprising to see how much money that this Cincinnati Bengals team is paying Giovanni Bernard. But after his contract extension, I mean, we thought that we were going to see Joe Mixon's usage just kind of naturally increase because we know that he has the talent at the running back position, and we understand that if the team is willing to go out there and put that much investment into him, I mean, why are they not going to get him more involved in other aspects of the game? But regardless, so far through 3 weeks, we have only seen Joe Mixon get the meaningless, the just like empty calorie carries. Now, these carries are the carries between the 20-yard lines. I mean, there's something that you're not necessarily going to go out there and score a ton of fantasy points with because the only way that you can is by breaking off an extremely long run like we saw with Derrick Henry all of 2019. And that is just going to be something that is highly volatile week to week, and it's not something that you can confidently project. So overall with Joe Mixon, so far through 3 weeks, he's had 17 carries, 16 carries, and 19 carries. I mean, and these are numbers where you look at him and you go, okay, he's getting the volume. He's probably scoring the fantasy points. But the problem is these carries are just coming at the worst possible position in the football field. I mean, they are coming in an area that, I mean, you want to be carrying the ball in the red zone and you want to be receiving the ball elsewhere on the field. That is what's going to translate over to fantasy points. We've known this for years. And currently, Joe Mixon is getting just none of that. I mean, we do not see the Cincinnati Bengals offense able to go out there and command any game so far. So we have not been able to see Joe Mixon really get any red zone work. We know that Joe Mixon currently has 0 touchdowns on the season. Clearly, I don't think that they expect Giovanni Bernard to be their goal line back the entire 2020 season. So I don't think it's that bold to come out here and say that Joe Mixon is going to be able to eventually get that work once we see this offense be a little bit more productive and is able to move the ball down the field. And I've said this so many times during the live streams. Guys, Joe Burrow is coming in, and we already know it's extremely hard to ask our rookie quarterbacks to come in, start week 1, and be productive right away and lead their offenses right away. But regardless, Joe Burrow has come in, and without a preseason, in a training camp that was limited at best. I mean, he has came in and at least provided just average quarterback play for this team. So I think based on what we can naturally expect for him to progress over the next few games and over the entire season, I think we can possibly expect that this Cincinnati Bengals team is going to be significantly better a month from now than it is currently. And if that happens, I think we see a lot more red zone usage for Joe Mixon. We see more carries overall for Joe Mixon because they are going to have a lead and they're not going to be playing and they're not going to be in the 2-minute drill a ton, because we know that that's what we've kind of seen with Joe Burrow up to date. We've seen him going out there throwing 60 balls a week. And I mean, that's not what you want with Joe Mixon, because he's not going to be at least out there at the current moment in the receiving game. So that is one way Joe Mixon can kind of retain his fantasy football value, because if this Cincinnati Bengals team improves their play, which I think that it's something that we can confidently assume that they are going to do, just given that Joe Burrow is going to progress throughout the season, I think that could be one reason Joe Mixon could go out there and just become a mid RB2 based on, I mean, right now he's a low end RB2, high end RB3, just someone that you really are not wanting to start any given week. But also, there's one other thing that could happen for Joe Mixon's fantasy value, and this is just Zach Taylor. I mean, just listening to everyone around him screaming, use Joe Mixon in the passing game. I mean, we've known. I've said this story also a million times during the live stream, so sorry if you're going to have to hear it for the millionth and first time. But regardless, Joe Mixon at Oklahoma, if y'all remember, he came out of this 2017 NFL draft class. He was selected in the second round by the Cincinnati Bengals. He really only fell because of the domestic violence concerns off the field. But regardless, I think that we are looking at this running back, and he was clearly a first-round running back talent. And the scouting report coming out of Oklahoma on Joe Mixon was that this running back was highly athletic, and he was a great pass catcher out of the backfield, because we've seen that in the Big 12, we saw that Joe Mixon split the backfield actually with Samaje Perine, former Washington football team running back. And Samaje Perine kind of operated in the same role that we see Joe Mixon operating in Cincinnati, where he is just getting the kind of just first and second down work. If it's going to be an obvious passing game down situation, Joe Mixon is coming in because Joe Mixon is providing that type of value. And I mean, so we know Joe Mixon, I mean, he is a great pass catcher. The problem is he's just not getting the chance to show it at the moment. So I think Joe Mixon, I mean, there are multiple ways that he can step up his fantasy football season. And with him so far having, I believe, about over 50 carries and just no touchdowns up to date, I think this is a player that we can go out there and we can project that he's going to see some positive touchdown regression. And if things change in this offense, he is a player that still has the ceiling. So while everyone is extremely down on him, I think it is an interesting situation to go out there and buy. Clearly, you are not going to be sending offers with where his value was in fantasy football drafts 3 weeks ago. What makes him as a great buy is you're going to be able to get him at an extreme discount. So that is why he's going to be a target. Now, let's talk about a player that I just got horribly wrong in week 3. This is like my 10th time bringing this up, but guys, y'all know I want to be very transparent. This is why I keep my fantasy football record on the board. This is why I just bring up what I got right, what I got wrong, so we can try to learn from our process and we can try to go through and make better decisions down the line. And I got Joshua Kelley entirely wrong in week 3. After seeing his week 2 performance against the Kansas City Chiefs, where he went out there and carried the ball 23 times, I was extremely optimistic with him going and playing the Carolina Panthers, because we know that the Carolina Panthers had the worst run defense in 2019, and they had so far through 2 weeks had the same thing going on in 2020, and we expected that the Los Angeles Chargers were going to be able to command this game, be in the lead, and run the clock down with Joshua Kelley. That did not happen. They were trailing in the game, so clearly that called for Austin Eckler, who was more of the receiving type running back. But at the end of the day, I think that this does not, I mean, Joshua Kelley shows us everything that we thought his role was in week 3. The only thing is the game script wasn't there. So it's going to be hard to project Joshua Kelley every given week if we don't know if we can confidently project that game script. But if we can, Joshua Kelley is going to be a guy that's going to be in flex consideration, and at the very least, he is a guy that's going to be very similar to someone like Chase Edmonds, someone like Alexander Mattison, or Tony Pollard, where if anything happens to Austin Eckler, Joshua Kelley is going to move from a flex consideration to an automatic high-end RB2 that you're plugging in your fantasy football lineup every given week. I mean, so after a couple of the questions I got in the live stream last night where people were asking me, should I drop Joshua Kelley to go out there and pick up one of these waiver wire guys? I mean, I just kind of realized that, guys, no, do not panic on Joshua Kelley. I know week 3 is something that I got woefully wrong, and it was just absolutely horrendous. But at the end of the day, we kind of understand that was due to game script. That was due to Josh Kelley losing a fumble. And overall, I think that there are greener days ahead. And yeah, go out there. If you can, go buy Josh Kelley on the low. Our last player, someone very similar to Joe Mixon. This guy I was actually very low on coming into the 2020 season. I made one of those videos, that one of the first videos that started to take off on the channel was our 5 players to sell before week 1 kicked off, and one guy was Kenyan Drake. I mean, with Kenyan Drake, I think the message was super clear. I mean, I did not think that this was going to be a feature down running back, because we have never seen Kenyan Drake be a feature down running back at any point in his football career outside of high school, because dating all the way even back to Alabama, he split the backfield there, and we know that he was never able to get the workload in Miami, and he got like a 3-game stretch in 2019 with the Arizona Cardinals where he was that feature 3-down running back. Everyone kind of bought in, and I was telling people, hey, just slow down a little bit. Let's see where this goes. And clearly, I mean, it has just been exactly what we've expected. Kenyan Drake has gone out here, and he's seen a lot of his touches be lost to Chase Edmonds, which is what we expected. But at the end of the day, I think that people have kind of dropped his value too much just because they were expecting too much to come into the year. So regardless, Kenyan Drake still through 3 weeks has averaged 18 carries a game. And on top of this, he only has 1 touchdown, and that's why I think a lot of people are kind of off Kenyan Drake at the moment. But I think that this is a player that is going to be a consistent running back 2 for you based on the offense that he plays in. I know it's concerning that he's not getting the passing down work, but if people are going out there panicking on Kenyan Drake as well, where I think we are going to see him have some more positive touchdown regression, similar to what I was saying with Joe Mixon. So Kenyan Drake is another one of these players that I think makes an interesting buy. Now, thanks guys. I really hope y'all enjoyed the video. I really hope y'all got something from it. As always, with these guys, you're not going to go out there and you're not going to pay what you would have a week ago. You're not going to go out there and pay what you would have at their peak. We are buying low for a reason. If the owner that you're sending an offer to is kind of being stubborn and he's not dropping their value to give you a discount, I mean, that's completely fine. Just completely move on. I'll have a new buy low wide receiver video coming out soon. Maybe you can go and try to target those players instead. But yeah, thanks guys. I really appreciate y'all watching this video. And if y'all enjoyed it, please make sure you drop a like, subscribe, and I will see y'all in the live stream tonight.